Welcome to our channel, Celestial Nexus. My name is Nima, and we got a few things to cover this week, from new UFO videos to Pentagon's new UAP reporting website and the Easter eggs hidden within it, to evidence of interstellar object crashing in the South Pacific Ocean, and more. By the way, I will be using the term UFO or UAP interchangeably. I still don't know which one I like best, the old school OG UFO or the new and more accurate UAP, so bear with me. We'll begin with some new UAP videos. In this first video, we see something streaking across the sky. It looks more like a meteorite than a UFO, but it does move in a very straight line, which makes it very interesting. Have a look.
Yo, did you get that? Get that on film. Get that on film. What the fuck is that, yo? Yo, what the?
Is that?
Yo. Oh, shit, what the? What was that, yo?
What the?
This clip is from Russia. I don't know when it was recorded, but it does look like the flying sphere that I myself saw from my balcony a few years ago. I explained it in my previous video. If you haven't seen it, you can go watch it. I've added the link below. So have a look at this one. This seems to be a little different than the one I saw. It's shinier. You can see the reflection of the sky, whereas mine was matte black, no reflection. This one, I'm not really sure of its authenticity. You be the judge and let me know. This one is shot from Oklahoma, what seems to be contrails or chemtrails, depending on which side of the conspiracy theory you are. And an orb just happens to be floating there.
That's fucking creepy.
Hey, the end of the world's coming. I'm telling you, bro.
Oh, it's definitely the end times.
Wait a
Caleb
second.
sent me the storm.
On my phone, look. You can see a black dot up there. What the fuck? What the hell? Dude, that's a UFO. Dude. It just disappeared. It just disappeared. What the fuck?
This clip, not sure where it was shot, appears to be a disc-shaped UFO caught in the rain. It does move erratically. Have a look.
Dude, over here. Come here. Look right above the trees. Come here, Fever. Right above the trees. What? Dude, what is that? That is not a plane either. It is not moving. Oh my gosh, dude. Me neither. Oh, dude. Did you see how fast it just went?
There it is. It's right there.
Dude, yeah, I got. Did you see how fast that thing just went?
Oh my gosh.
That is a UFO. Dude! Where did it go?
Yo, I don't.
Dude.
Wow. Okay. Dude alert.
This next clip was shot from NASA's cameras on the space station. You can see the object entering the screen from the right hand side. Once it gets to the middle of the screen, it comes to a complete stop, and in an instant it accelerates off the screen. Have a look. Several days ago, there was a hearing in Mexico regarding UAPs, similar to the one held in Washington, D.C. on July 26, where witnesses like Ryan Graves, David Grusch, and Dave Fravor testified before the Congress, which I will show highlights later on in this video. The hearing was led by Jaime Maussan, Mexico's leading ufologist and journalist. They had a few people on the roster of speakers, included the former U.S. Navy pilot Ryan Graves and Lieutenant Robert Salas of United States Air Force. During the event, they showed us supposed aliens who died and who were mummified over 1,000 years ago. According to Mossad, studies have shown that these alien mummies' DNA contain 30% of unknown origin. In this picture, you see that they are tridactyl, meaning that they only got 3 fingers. Inside one of the mummies, X-ray shows what appears to be eggs or some sort of calcified objects. It was also noted that the fallopian tubes also contained eggs. I don't know what to think. Is it legit? I mean, Jimmy Mossad isn't the most reliable person. He has made many questionable claims in the past. What I found interesting is how the alien mummies looked a lot like the supposed dead aliens or the alien found in Siberia in 2011. From what I've seen during my research into these alien mummies, I found the following clips and information. Have a look.
Instead of humeri, she sports femurs, or thigh bones. Her legs are even more baffling. One of the thigh bones is actually a femur, only facing the wrong way around, while the other one is a tibia. And they are completely mismatched. With the hip bone, there's no joint there at all. The poor humanoid wouldn't have made a single step. Some of the bones are simply chopped off. Note this asymmetry here. The fingers are a total mess too. The first pseudophalanges are facing in different directions on her left and right hands, with the white part facing up or down. Well, they just forgot to turn them the right way. Stuff happens. And look at this alien head. French paleontologist Julien Benoit thinks that those who crafted the small humanoid mummies used skulls of some small mammals for their heads, such as a llama or alpaca. Comparison shows that the reptiloid's cranial cavity fits perfectly the cranial cavity of a llama. The location of the olfactory bulbs, the inner ear, the brain hemispheres, and the cerebellum precisely matches those in a llama skull. The whole facial part of the skull was broken off, leaving only the brain case. The skull was then rotated, so its back part faces forward. The reptiloid's face is actually the back of the poor llama's head.
Oh my god, what's going on? Beep, 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 beep. My bullcrap meter's going crazy. Beep, 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 beep.
The mummies were discovered in an archaeological dig near Nazca, Peru in 2015. A total of 20 or so were discovered, one of which was almost 2 meters tall. They were all tridactyl with elongated heads. In the past, similar mummies were tested on their DNA and found out they were humans, probably mummified babies. I don't know. I'm more leaning towards that these mummies are fake. I do want to see more testing being done on these mummies by like a third party. Maybe to see what their skin is made of. Look inside their bellies to see what's the last thing they ate. Examine their bones and determine their approximate age and sex. Or maybe we can use their DNA and create one in the lab. I don't know. I'm just kidding. Maybe. Overall, the Mexican hearing wasn't great, and it did nothing for the advancement of the UAP disclosure. Even Ryan Graves tweeted that the hearing was a huge step backwards, and that he is deeply disappointed by the unsubstantiated stunt. On to more reliable news. Aviloeb, a respected physicist who believes the January 2014 meteor that crashed into the South Pacific Ocean was an interstellar object, meaning from outside our solar system. And according to New York Times, the location of the crash, velocity, and the brightness were recorded by the US government sensors and radars, but remained largely undisclosed. That is until Dr. Loeb and his team led an expedition in the month of June to retrieve the fragments of the fireball from the Pacific Ocean seafloor. And what they found were more than 600 tiny spherical objects. Dr. Loeb says that they could be a part of an exploding star, or they were possibly manufactured as part of an alien technology. He is planning a new expedition in 2024, hoping to find a bigger chunk of this object to have a better idea what he's dealing with. Until then, draw your own conclusion. And recently, the Pentagon launched a website where soon you'll be able to report your own UFO and UAP videos. By UAP, I now mean Unidentified Anomalous Phenomena, which it used to stand for Unidentified Aerial Phenomena, because these objects are not only seen in the air, but also in the water. The website is very simple to browse, not much to do. They've got a vision and a mission statement and procedures on how to report UAPs. The slides are a very interesting read because they discuss arrows integrated operations strategy, which includes detecting, tracking, mitigating, and recovering. And by mitigating, they mean engaging with them. They also went ahead and added a couple of Easter eggs in there, one being the coordinates that appear in the center of the page with the word target pointing to a blurry triangular shaped craft. And when you input those coordinates on Google Maps, you find, you guessed it, Groom Lake, Area 51. The second Easter egg can be seen on the arrow logo itself, replacing the O with a sphere, given that 47% of the reported sightings are associated with metallic spherical objects. A Twitter user found that in the corner of each of the 4 new slides, there is a quarter of a sphere. When you combine all 4, you get an image of a spherical orb. And another Twitter user found that the image is an Adobe stock image called Alien Technology in a metallic ball. Some people think that the government is trolling us. I think they simply chose a stock image for their site. What do you think? Do you think they're trolling us? Let me know in the comments down below. If you've made it so far through the video, big thank you. If you're not subscribed yet, please consider subscribing, because I'll be posting videos from time to time. Let's move on. For those who have watched the American congressional hearing about the UFO UAPs on July 26, you guys can skip this part or you can rewatch it. For those who haven't seen it, here are some highlights.
Mr. Grusch, finally, do you believe that our government is in possession of UAPs?
Absolutely, based on interviewing over 40 witnesses over 4 years.
And where?
I know the exact locations, and those locations were provided to the Inspector General and some of which to the intelligence committees. I actually had the people with the firsthand knowledge provide a protected disclosure to the Inspector General.
The technology that we faced was far superior than anything that we had, and you could put that anywhere. If you had one, you captured one, you reverse engineered it, you got it to work, you're talking something that can go into space, go someplace, drop down in a matter of seconds, do whatever it wants, and leave, and there's nothing we can do about it. Nothing.
These sightings are not rare or isolated, they are routine. Military aircrew and commercial pilots, trained observers whose lives depend on accurate identification, are frequently witnessing these phenomena.
I mean, I've seen some of the videos of the recent shoot down, and I saw no reason that couldn't have been released as long as they mask some data. The American people deserve to see that imagery in full motion video.
Mr. Favor, what astonished you the most about the flight capabilities of these Tic Tac, very briefly?
The performance, absolute performance. It was.
And you're not aware of any other objects that anybody in the world has in this world that has those capabilities?
No, I think it's far beyond actually our material science that we currently possess. Yeah, I concur with that. We have nothing that can stop in midair and go the other direction, nor do we have anything that can, like in our situation, come down from space, hang out for 3 hours, and go back up.
Since the events initially occurred, I've learned that the objects have been detected essentially where all operations, Navy operations, are being conducted across the world.
Do you have any personal knowledge of people who have been harmed or injured in efforts to cover up or conceal these extraterrestrial technology?
Yes. Personally.
Have anyone been murdered that you would that you know of or have heard of, I guess?
I have to be careful asking that question. I directed people with that knowledge to the appropriate authorities.
What was your experience after you came forward?
I do have knowledge of active planned reprisal activity against myself and other colleagues, and it's very, very upsetting to me.
Coming from where?
Certain senior leadership at previous agencies I was associated with.
Let's talk about G-forces of those vehicles. Could a human survive those G-forces with known technology today?
No.
No, not for the acceleration rates that we observed.
Okay.
Has the U.S. government become aware of actual evidence of extraterrestrial, otherwise unexplained forms of intelligence? And if so, when do you think this first occurred?
I like to use the term non-human. I don't like to denote origin. Keeps the aperture open, both scientifically. Right. Certainly, like I've discussed publicly previously, 1930s.
Mr. Grusch, are you aware, do you have direct knowledge, or have you talked to people with direct knowledge, that there are satellite imagery of these events?
That was one of my primary tasks at NGA, since we process, exploit, and disseminate that kind of information. I've seen multiple cases, some of which, to my understanding, and of course I left NGA in April, so that's my information cutoff date, but I personally reviewed both what we call overhead collection and from other strategic and tactical platforms, that were I could not even explain prosaically. And I have a degree in physics, by the way, as well. And I am aware that you guys have not seen these reports, unfortunately. And I don't know why.
Do you have direct knowledge, or you've spoken to people with direct knowledge that this imagery applies to crash sites, crash imagery?
I can't discuss that in an open session.
Okay.
If you believe we have crashed craft, stated earlier, do we have the bodies of the pilots who piloted this craft?
As I've stated publicly already in my News Nation interview, biologics came with some of these recoveries, yeah.
Were they, I guess, human or non-human biologics?
Non-human, and that was the assessment of people with direct knowledge on the program I talked to that are currently still on the program.
What special access programs cover this information, and how is it possible that they have evaded oversight for so long?
I do know the names. Once again, I can't discuss that publicly and how they've evaded oversight. In a closed setting, I can tell you the specific tradecraft used.
All right. So who gets to decide this, in your opinion, in the past?
It's a group of career senior executive officials.
Okay. Are they government officials?
Both in and out.
Do what?
Both in and out of government, and that's about as far as I can go there. Yeah.
All right. Well, that leads to my next question. Which private corporations are directly involved in this program?
I did provide to the committees in specific divisions, and I spent 11 and a half hours with both Intel committees. So.
Okay.
Who in the government, either what agency, sub-agency, what contractors, who should be called into the next hearing about UAPs, either in a public setting or even in a private setting?
I can give you a specific cooperative and hostile witness list of specific individuals that were in those.
And how soon can we get that list?
I'm happy to provide that to you after the hearing.
Super, thank you.
You've said that the U.S. has intact spacecraft. You said that the government has alien bodies or alien species. Have you seen the spacecraft?
I have to be careful to describe what I've seen firsthand and not in this environment, but I could answer that question behind closed doors.
A few questions for Mr. Favor. As an expert naval aviator, have you ever seen an object that looked and moved like the Tic Tac UAP?
No.
Did the Tic Tac UAP move in such a way that defied the laws of physics?
The way we understand them, yes.
Many dismiss UAP reports as classified weapons testing by our own government, but in your experience as a pilot, does our government typically test advanced weapon systems right next to multi-million-dollar jets without informing our pilots?
No, we have test ranges for that.
Are you aware of any individuals that are participating in reverse engineering programs for non-terrestrial craft?
Personally, yes. Mm-hmm.
Do you know any that would be willing to testify if there were protections for them?
Certainly closed door and assurances breaking their NDA, they're not going to get administratively punished for so. Yeah.
Graves and Fravor, in the event that your encounters had become hostile, would you have had the capability to defend yourself, your crew, your aircraft?
Absolutely not.
Sir?
No.
As you saw, davidgrusch testified in front of the Congress. There were some questions he would not answer, as they were deemed classified and need to be conducted in a SCIF. SCIF being sensitive compartmented information facility. In other words, it could not be discussed in an open setting. Representative Tim Burchett, who led the July 26 hearing along with other members of the Congress, wrote a letter to the Inspector General asking them to provide answers to the questions davidgrusch could not answer, and a deadline of September 15, 2023. You can pause and read if you like. Representative Tim Burchett has also been seen on interviews mocking the blurry black and white videos and images the Pentagon made available to the public, and says he has seen better and higher quality videos of UAPs and is asking to be released and with more transparency going forward. If you enjoyed this clip, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing, as it will help the channel grow. I will try to post as often as I can, so make sure you come back. Until the next clip, make sure you take care of yourself and each other, and don't forget to look up, because you never know what's flying over you. See you guys on the next one.